What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK here with another one. The Dallas Mavericks are in a very critical time and place as a franchise, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk about whether the Mavericks need to contend or begin to tank. More here on TGK TV. Enough of the fluff. Let's get to the all right, man. So it's a very interesting time. If you're following the Mavericks and are rooting for them hardcore, it's a very particular situation that the Dallas Mavericks are in. As you see by the thumbnail, they either have to consider contending or beginning the processes of tanking. And so with this video, it's really just one big question that I want to ask everyone and get everyone's perspective on this. And I'm genuinely asking. I'm not asking in a sense to troll or anything like that, or to spread negativity, or even just get people's hopes up. I'm genuinely asking, because when you consider where the Mavericks are as a franchise and everything that they've gone through, obviously with Nico Harrison and the things that have transpired, I do find everything very interesting with where they are at right now. They're currently on a 3-game winning streak. Tonight they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. And there's a lot of things to consider on what they need to do moving forward, dog. A big conglomerate of people are thinking they need to tank. They need to pair Cooper Flagg and Nemby with as much young talent as possible. And then on the other side of the coin is, well, we got all these vets. We need to go and contend now. Now, yes, the Dallas Mavericks are 8-15, and people will say like, well, you know, they're starting from a deficit right now. And so you look at this from that perspective, is like, you know, they got one of the worst offenses in the league and, you know, one of the top defenses in the league. But when you look at the last 3 games that they have played and they have been winning, they're up there with some of the best offenses and they're up there with some of the best defenses. So which is the true Mavericks, right? Brian Nembhard starting has been a godsend for the team. It's given them a legit point guard to be able to facilitate and get and put everybody where they need to be. Anthony Davis moving to the 5 has made this a lot of sense for this team, where Cooper Flagg can now play a little bit more freely. There's more space. There's a 5-out kind of element. And so do you look at this team like, can they continue this and continue to win? I mean, they're only a couple of games out of the play-in. Could they continue in this direction and stack up wins and get in the playoffs? Now, could they get as high as a top 6 seed? Potentially, right? They do have that talent, and depending on when Kyrie returns, they could even add more of that firepower to this team and add more of that veteran leadership that this team needs. But at the end of the day, man, there's so many things to weigh. Whether this team has enough from the perspective of when it comes to like draft compensation, right? The only pick that they have is this upcoming draft, and then they don't have their pick for several years, right? Or should they go ahead and start selling the prime veterans that they have and get in maybe a youthful player and put in a couple of potential picks? That's just the dilemma in all of this. Because if we'll say the Mavericks get in the playoffs, who could they legitimately beat and who could they legitimately not beat? Tonight's going to give us a different idea, because they're taking on the Thunder. Again, the Thunder are not full 100%, nor are the Dallas Mavericks. But if they win, that gives you that sense like, oh, well, I think the Mavericks need to go for it. And if the Mavericks do decide to go for it, should they try to make a trade on, you know, on the edges? There's a trade that I had in mind where it dealt with Hardy and Martin and a couple of picks, maybe just one pick for you know, Bobby Portis, something like that, right? Is there a trade out there that you could just add to this team and then move forward? Because Derek Lively, for the most part, he's probably going to require some season-ending surgery. Right now, he's looking at different options, and it's not likely that he's going to return. That's the reality of this. Daniel Gafford is out tonight as well. PJ Washington is out tonight as well. And I guess the great thing about the Dallas Mavericks right now is they have a lot of depth. But can that depth keep up with the 82 game season that we have and all these injuries that the Mavericks get? And, you know, they come in, they go out, and they're able to bounce back into the squad whenever they come back from injury. And it's just, it's a tough place to be in, because I look at it from this perspective. If you're able to hit another home run in the draft and say you pick up one of these top 3, great prospects in the draft, and you pair that with a Flagg and an Embiid, and you move forward, you still got Max Christie as well, and you move forward, and say you ended up trading a Kyrie and an AD or whatever direction they go in, then you have something to look forward to and wait out the OKC dynasty, because OKC is going to be here for a while. They got so many first round picks. At any moment, they can make a decision that improves their team as well. So it's tough. It's like, do you decide to just go for it and bet on AD's health, that he's going to stay healthy? Do you bet on Kyrie's health? Do you bet on Kyrie's capability? Like, is he going to come back and be the Kyrie of old, or be the new Kyrie that isn't as good as the old Kyrie was? And what type of Kyrie do you need? This is a really critical stage in the Mavericks, because say they start winning too much and then they get to the point where, well, we want to tank now. How far could they get down in there to where they get a decent enough position to get a top pick? Because I guarantee you at 1%, they're not going to win again. They're not going to get the number one pick, much less a top 3. And I just feel like for the Mavs fans, like they're in a tough spot, because I'm online. I mean, the majority of my algorithm is Mavericks related. And on Twitter specifically, I think people are split. They are split half and half on like what direction they want the team to go in. And in my group chat where I have, Mavericks Digest and many others, some has expressed that they enjoy watching games that have some intrigue, that aren't just boring, that isn't just tanking, right? They want to be entertained while they're watching a game, and they're like in the middle. Some people recognize that this team has talent, that they could do stuff, and it is fun watching them right now to see what the rookies are doing, to see how they're developing and adding and contributing, and you see the growth. But then also on one end, it's like just the criticality of all of this. It's like Anthony Davis has 2 years left on his deal. He then has a player option that takes him up to $60 million. And to retain AD at that time, when he would turn, 33, 34, are you willing to give him another massive contract? Same thing with Kyrie. I believe he's about a year and a half older than AD. And then his player option comes up after next year. Are you willing to give him another massive deal when he's older, and then the return on investment isn't as glaring, right? It's a tough place to be in, man. It's a tough place to be in. But I will share with you where I think the Mavericks need to go. But I would also share with you why I understand people's perspectives. So I'll start with the opposite of what I think. And the opposite is that people want to contend, right? People want to take this team and go and contend and try to win a championship. Right now they're 8-15. They could be right back in the playoff picture. And if they do approach that direction, I do think if they are healthy, they are a damn good team. And the fact that Cooper has developed so quickly, like we're not even acknowledging that the man is 18 doing what he's doing. That is rare air. He is up there with doing what LeBron did at that age in this current NBA. And then Nemby, I always thought Nemby was more like a veteran because he's 22. He's already been around quite a while. He's ready to, put into a lineup and contribute. He's done that. When Kyrie comes back, AD stays healthy. Daniel Gafford comes back, stays healthy. PG Washington, things of that sort. You're going to miss Derek Lively, but I think you can still contend. I think the Mavericks do have a decent chance if they get that chemistry going, if they can stay healthy. I see the upside. It's just the hard part about it is you don't have draft picks moving forward. So I get it from the perspective of fan interest, from the perspective of keeping the fans happy, from the brand perspective. Like if you're an owner of the team, man, I want to sell tickets. I want to sell jerseys. I want to have good concessions. From that perspective, you keep this current squad. But if you know Dallas, you know that they're going to support regardless. So I understand that element. And I think it would be fun to see this Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs and see what Cooper Flagg could do on a big stage. I think that would be extremely fun to see. But then on the flip side of it, where I think the Mavericks need to go ahead and invest into the future and allow Cooper Flagg to develop into a number one and become and let him know this is your team and we're building around you. It's going to be a slow build, but we're going to build around you. And then pair him up with, I don't know, what if AJ is available in the draft and you pick him. Now you hit 2 home runs and you got NIMBY and you could build for the future with these youthful players, as opposed to having the older players where you could potentially win now. It's tough, man. It's tough. And if it's difficult for even, because then if you try to add the human element to all of this, you start thinking to yourself, like, what is the proper direction to go in? And, you know, and I've been getting trolled in the comments, talk about, oh, you a Laker fan, stay on that side, and da, da, da. Brother, I'm going to cover both. I've been saying it from the start. I'm going to cover both. But when I look at it from this perspective, it's just like, what is the right direction to go in for the Dallas Mavericks? Should they tank or should they contend? And if they contend and they don't win, would not tanking look like a massive mistake? Because you're going to have to pay Kyrie and AD in literally a year from now. You're going to have to, I mean, not a year from now, but whenever their player option is up, you're going to offer them another contract because you don't want to lose them for nothing. And if they pick up their player option, you're going to have to pay AD 60 something mil. Kyrie, almost 40 or 50 mil. I just don't know, man, because they're going to, again, AD and Kyrie are going to be much older. Clay, his deal is up after next year. I don't think anybody resigns him unless he takes a really discount deal. And you got PJ for the next 6. You got Cooper Flagg on 2 years for a team option, so he could be optioned out for the next 4 years. And then you got Ryan Nembhard, which you need to sign immediately. Mash Christie, things of that sort, right? They have a good squad. And ultimately, like, imagine you're in the front office. Like, what is the direction you want to go in? And do you want to trade AD on a subpar deal? Do you want to trade Kyrie on a subpar deal? And then I've been given the perspective from another person in the group chat that, like, you know what? Just go all out and live with the results. And, you know, sometimes you want to look at a first round pick as very valuable. It can be valuable depending on if you do your scouting correctly. And that is just the perspective of, we don't know what this front office is doing. We know they fired Nico, and we know they put Michael Finley and I forgot the other guy's name as a co-GM. But could they be able to identify talent in this scenario where they don't have picks moving forward? Are they going to get players that want to come here to play with AD and Kyrie and Cooper Flagg on discounts? That's another potential. That is another argument for the contending side. If you want to contend on that side moving forward, all these off seasons, you're going to get players that want to play with those guys, and they'll probably come here for, you know, pennies on the dime, pennies on the dollar. And if you tank, you're not going to get anybody to want to come, right? So who knows what the right answer is? But I know that in my perspective, I do think tanking enough to get a potentially top 5 pick, it is good enough to start there, and hopefully you get picks from other teams so you could also find talent. Because when AD and Kyrie are costing you so much, I just don't know how much flexibility they have. And again, it could be you get veterans on some discounts to come to the team. So I pose that question to you. This video is really for us to just communicate. Let me know in the comments below. Are you team contend or team tank? Where do you stand with all this, and why? Why? Because I know I'm open to hearing you. I might be wrong. I might have the wrong perspective. But I want to hear why you think so as well. What should they do? And let's not be homers. Let's not say, oh, they need to contend because we're just, you know, Mavs fans. No, like at this point, we need to look ahead and build the team properly, because we made mistakes with Luka Doncic here. We didn't sign Jalen Brunson, and then we tried to contend way too early with KP. We didn't suck bad enough to get another pick to pair with Luka, and we ended up having to trade for KP and things of that sort. And then just the decisions that were made. And then you eventually improve the team to get to the finals, and then, you know, they gutted the team. We don't need more bad general managing of this franchise. And we need them to have a clear direction moving forward. And I really want to hear your perspectives, right? I want to hear your perspectives. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Definitely like, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this today, I'll be live covering the Lakers and the Celtics. And then immediately after, I'll be covering the Mavericks and the Thunder. But What side of the corner are you on, man? Should the Mavericks contend or should the Mavericks tank for Cooper Flagg in the future, man? Anyway, it's been your boy TGK. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. We out.